Hey Vicente, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How's everything going?
All's going good. Very good.
Nice. UFC are making their first trip to Santiago, Chile on May 19th, and you're taking on Chad Laprise. Kind of a hometown fight for you. You're half Chilean, right?
Yes, my father is Chilean, and I have a lot of family over there. I have my grandmother that is from there and lives there. I have cousins and uncles, so it's gonna be kind of a fight at home.
Nice. And yeah, how excited are you to compete in front of the Chilean fans?
I'm definitely really excited. I think that's gonna be an extra motivation for the training and for the fight. It's gonna be really special. I know they're gonna have my back over there. Everybody's gonna be cheering for me, so it's definitely really special.
Cool. And how connected are you to the MMA scene in Chile? I mean, what can you tell us about it? I know you've done most of your training throughout your career in Brazil and the US, but have you ever gotten the chance to check out any gyms there or the MMA scene in general?
The only thing I really know, I mean, I know Diego Rivas. I met him in the first summit I went from the UFC, and he always talked to me about how it was in Chile and that it was a sport that was growing a lot over there. But I have never seen any gyms there or anything like that. I never had the opportunity to go train over there. But I know it's something that is growing a lot, and they really like to watch it. They love watching UFC and everything. So I think it's going to be a big deal for the UFC to go over there.
Nice. And when's the last time you've been to Chile?
The last time and the only time I've been there, I was about 12 years old, I believe. And I went there with my father. And that was the only time I saw my grandmother and all my family from Chile.
Oh wow, so this is like extra special for you. It's not just about the fight. I mean, you getting to go back home essentially.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be really special. I'm going to get to see everyone again. My dad lives in the United States, so I always
Oh,
visit him over there, and I only had the opportunity to go one time to Chile, so it's going to be definitely really nice. I'm also going to take a week after to be with everybody and to get to see all my family and enjoy some time with them.
cool. And are you gonna have like family and friends come out to watch you fight?
Yes, yes, I definitely am going to have a lot of family going for the fight, and it's going to be really nice.
Does that make you nervous, or do you like having that?
No, I like it. I fought. I would say like this is gonna be my third home that I fight. I fought in Brasilia, where I grew up and I trained. I also fought in New York, and it's really close to New Jersey. That's where I was born, and I have family over there too. And my uncle, my dad, all everybody went for that fight. So I'm kind of used to it, and it motivates me more, and I like it. I don't feel nervous about that. I like the opportunity to be able to do what I love to do and to fight in front of all the people that are always supporting me.
And yeah, because I was gonna say you're born in New Jersey, and there's UFC Atlantic City coming up. You're half Brazilian, and there's UFC Rio coming up. So you could have kind of ended up fighting in multiple different hometown cards, but this is extra special, right? I mean, the UFC's first trip to Chile, you haven't been since you were 12, so this is extra special than if you were to fight in those other two cards.
Yeah, that's definitely this one is definitely the most special of them. I think it's gonna be a really big thing. I mean, the first time the UFC goes somewhere, it's always really special. I had the opportunity to fight in the first card of New York, and that was amazing. I mean, the weigh-ins there were about 12,000 people, so it was incredible. And I think in Chile it's gonna be the same thing. The first time of the UFC over there, everybody is gonna be really excited, and everybody's gonna save money, and for sure they're gonna want to buy tickets and go and watch the fights.
Absolutely, and let's talk about your fight. You're taking on Chad Laprise. I know you wanted a ranked opponent, so were you disappointed that it wasn't? I mean, Chad is a very tough opponent, but you've been on quite a roll, winning your last 5 of 6, and all by the way of finish. So were you kind of disappointed that it wasn't a ranked opponent?
I've been wanting a ranked opponent for a while, and I mean, I'm not disappointed. I'm never disappointed with a fight. It's what I like to do. So, and especially a guy like Chad, he's a challenge. He's a great striker, and I'm a striker myself. So I'm gonna want to test myself with him. I want to see who's the better striker between the two of us, and I'm always excited when I'm gonna fight, and I think if I keep winning fights, naturally the the ranked fight is gonna come eventually, and I'm always aiming for the best fighters in the division. I'm gonna keep aiming to the top 15 guys, but I'm not disappointed with this fight.
Nice. And were the UFC trying to put together another fight? I mean, was it a matter of the UFC not finding anyone that was willing to fight you in Chile? How did the process go down? Like, were you offered anybody else? Did the UFC, like, did you tell the UFC I absolutely want to fight in Chile? I mean, how did the whole process of this fight come about?
Yeah, I asked the UFC and I talked to my manager Ali, and I let him know that I really wanted to be in that card. So he got in touch with Sean and we together got he looked for an opponent and he came up with Chad and we thought it was a good fight, so we just took that fight and I wanted to be in the card of Chile, so that's how I got that fight.
Nice. And let's talk about Chad. You know, like you said, he's a pretty well-rounded guy. Primarily likes to stand and trade. What do you make of his game? I mean, how do you see this fight playing out?
I see it starting for sure in the striking. I mean, he's a great striker. He's a guy that moves a lot, and he always tries to knock his opponents out. And that's not very different of my style. You know, I also go in there and try to knock my opponent out. And the floor, I mean, I eventually sometimes get to the floor, but usually I don't look so much for it. It's just something that happens naturally. So I'm gonna feel out the fight and see how the striking goes. And with time, I'll see if I'll take it to the ground or not. But I believe it's gonna be a striking fight.
Nice. And have you watched his previous fights? I mean, in his last fight, he faced quite a bit of adversity before he was able to turn things around. What did you make of his last performance, if you've seen his last fight?
Yeah, I've seen his last three fights, and I think his last fight he got a real strong guy, and I think he struggled a bit with his strength. But at the same time, he's a guy that when he is in a hard spot, he keeps calm and he's able to overcome that. So I think like I'm gonna go in there and put the fight, bring the fight to him. That's what I always do, and I'm gonna be ready to change the game if I need to take it down or not. And I know he's gonna bring the fight as well because he's a tough guy. But that's the kind of fight I like. My last opponent, Nico Price, he also was a really tough guy, and I still went out there and put on the pressure because that's what I know how to do, and that's what I'm gonna do in this fight.
Absolutely. And tell me about your training camp. You're in Brazil right now, correct? Are you planning on spending the rest of your training camp there?
Yeah, I'm in Brazil right now, and I'm gonna have all my camp over here. I was in Florida during January, from the beginning to end of January, so I had some good training over there, and now I'm just gonna have these other 9 weeks over here and get some good training over here. The team here in Brazil has grown a lot, so now I'm really able to have good sparring and everything over here, so I feel comfortable.
And how do you usually split your training? I mean, do you go to Brazil when it's closer to your fight, then go back to Florida after? Do you have a certain format when it comes to your training, or do you kind of just go with the flow and what you feel like you want to do?
Yeah, I kind of go with the flow, and with all my coaches, I talk a lot to them and see what's best at the moment. And I'm always training. I'm never like I'm not able to be more than a week without training, so I'm always training, and I have a lot to like. I have to plan myself when I don't have a fight. Telling me like, okay, take it easier. Don't you don't gotta go so hard because I really love training and I just like if I could I would fight every weekend. But you know the body sometimes cannot take that much. So I go feeling it and my coaches go telling me what they think and together we decide what's best.
Nice. And who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
So I'm still figuring that out, but always Daniel is my main head coach, my striking coach here in Brasilia. He's gonna be in my corner for sure, and possibly Gilbert. We're still he has a fight coming up in April, and we're talking about that. But probably he's gonna be in my corner too. And but I still have not decided all of them yet.
Why did I hear that Gilbert's fight was with Blando Vanata was off? I mean, is it not off, or is it like what's going on with that?
Well, I'm not really sure because he's training and we have talked a bit, but he hasn't let me know anything about that. I believe the fight's still on because he's training really hard, and I mean he's training to fight in April, so I'm not sure about that. I didn't hear about that.
All right, no worries. And there was a feature on you on Combate Futuro Campeão. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. It had a mural on the wall. How cool was that? I mean, filming it and everything.
Yeah, that was really nice. That's a nice program, and you said the name right. It's Future Champs in Portuguese, Future Champions, and it was nice. You know, they came here and they filmed the school I grew up studying in. They filmed with my mother, with my fiance, and it was really special. You know, to be able to show the fans, especially the Brazilian fans, a little more about myself and what I am outside of the cage. It was really nice.
And where is that mural on the wall? Is it in your hometown of Brasilia?
Yeah, it was in Brasilia, yes.
Is it like next to the gym where you train or where you live or where is it?
It's everything here is really close, you know. It's about maybe 15 minutes from where I live and 20 minutes from where I train. So the city is Brasilia is not really big. So the longest drives here are like 25 minutes. Everything's really close.
Nice. And where can people watch this? Is it they have to go on Combate's website or something?
Yeah, I believe in the website of Combate they have it, and they showed it on Combate the channel, but I don't know if they could have it somewhere else. I'm not sure.
Very nice. And when you look at the welterweight division, everybody's talking about Darren Till, Kamaru Usman, a couple of other guys. Do you think, like, what about me? I mean, should you beat Laprise, that would be 6 wins in your last 7. I know it's not your character and you're not that kind of guy, but will you get on the mic and state your case? Obviously not in the aggressive way that people have been doing it lately, but are you... I mean, you're also one of the super young guys. You're 25, right?
I'm 26 right now. 26.
Yeah, it's still super young. I mean, do you plan on maybe in a post-fight press conference or interview or anything? Just kind of. I know I asked you this last time, but do you want people? Do you feel like that's the way? Because I feel like that's the way that people are starting to realize that that's kind of what they have to do to get their voice heard and get the big fights. Should you beat Laprise, do you feel like you need to do that?
I mean, I think that yeah, people have been doing that a lot, and I do plan on maybe having someone that I want to call out after I win a fight, and that's still not really decided on my mind. But I think it's the way people are getting fights right now. I think sometimes people go really maybe they go too aggressive about it. I'm a respectful guy, and I like everybody in my division. I mean, I admire most of the top 15 guys. Me wanting to fight them is totally it doesn't make me like hate them or anything like that. I still admire all the guys. Darren Till is a guy that I think has excellent striking, and for that particular reason, I would love to fight him and test myself against a guy like that and see who can take the harder punch. But I definitely plan on calling someone out, and I still don't have it set on my mind who it will be. But winning this fight, I'm gonna see who I'm gonna call out, and I think that's the way things have been happening now, and I think it's a way that you can really put your will out there, because sometimes we talk to the UFC and the fight maybe is gonna happen or not gonna happen. And if it doesn't happen, okay, we understand that it didn't happen, but the fans never know if we really wanted to fight somebody in the top 15 or not. And when you put it out there in the mic after the fight, the crowd knows that you want that fight. So that's kind of like, it makes the other guy kind of have to position himself about it.
Definitely. I mean, because a lot of times I feel like with the whole call-out thing, people are going to be like, I mean, like we saw Leon Edwards do that, like say, I want to fight Darren Till, and everyone's like, yeah, sit down, like, you don't deserve that fight. But whatever, like at the end of the day, that name starts, like people start thinking about that name, right? When you're matchmaking and all that, they'll be like, oh yeah, that guy, like, because that guy went on the mic and he said something, even if the fans didn't necessarily react to it, because I feel like the fans kind of turn down everything, right? I mean, they're always like,
yeah.
yeah. So, like, but at the end of the day, you say something like, you're fresh in their memory, right? Like, they'll think, all right, this guy said he's ready to go. And sometimes it's really hard to find guys who are ready to go, because you have a lot of people who are sitting and be like, I want to protect my ranking. I don't want to fight this guy. I want to fight in this state. I want to do that. So at the end of the day, when you say something, it's like you're fresh in their minds, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I believe that's how it goes, and the fans like that at the same time because you know it's not only it's a sport, but it's also entertainment, and I think the fans like all this calling out and challenging the other guys. So I think it's the way that things are going now, and I'll do it definitely. I'll do it in my way. I'm not gonna just go out there and start talking shit, but I think I could do it respectfully for sure.
And are you hoping with a win over Laprise that maybe you get a ranking by the end of this fight?
Yeah, I believe so. I think this year I'm definitely gonna get a ranked opponent. That's my plan, and I want to try to fight at least 3 fights this year. So this will be the first, and I want to put other 2 fights in still this year. So I want to fight a ranked opponent this year.
Nice. And one last thing, I appreciate the time. How do you see your fight with Laprise playing out? How do you get the job done?
I see it starting striking, and he's gonna move a lot. He's a quick guy. He used to fight at 155, so he can move a lot. And I'm gonna do my work, pressure him, and I see a knockout, maybe first or second round, but I see a knockout for sure.
Awesome. Well, Vicente, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Really looking forward to this fight. I think it's very exciting that the UFC are going to Chile, and you were one of the first guys that popped up in my head. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's half Chilean. Like, I'm like, this is one of the first guys they should have on this card. So I'm glad they have you on there. Best of luck in May.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's gonna be awesome.